Hey guys, Brian from Wrenches and Rides, and we are working on our Can-Am X3 XRS to get it ready to go to the Hatfield-McCoy trails in West Virginia. We expect a little bit more extreme riding out there, so we're taking care of some of the suspension components that are known to be weak, bend, and or break. So we're going to start back here with the rear radius rods. This lower rod is well out in the open, and if you hit a rock on it, it is known to break, and that will definitely slow you down on the trail, if not ruin your weekend. So it was simple for us. We went to summitracing.com and picked up the Assault Industries radius rod replacement kit. These are a turret style, and they are 10 times stronger than what you have down here as factory. They have Heim joints on the end and are fully adjustable, so if you want to change any of your suspension up for racing, for anything you're doing, you can adjust these up to get the perfect camber or offset, whatever you're looking for back here. Excellent little rods that also look cool. Now, in doing that installation, we also have the double shear pins for the back for this middle radius rod. It is just a bolt that goes into aluminum. This is going to help give that more strength, so we're going to strengthen up the back. All we're going to do to take care of this is remove our S3 tow hook. We're going to make sure that we have the machine jacked up and stable. We'll then remove the outside tires and start removing all the parts and pieces. Bring the radius rods over to our bench and make sure that the new radius rods that we're putting in are aligned up for the exact same length. We labeled our old radius rods before we pulled them out. Obviously, it's pretty easy to figure out that the lower radius rod has a slight bend in it. The upper radius rod is going to be the shorter version without the bend, and the middle is going to be the longer. To line these up, we just grabbed a bolt we had laying around that fits in here tight. You have these caps that go inside the Heim joints. So what we can do is take our long radius rod and just start to lengthen it out. And we'll lengthen it out evenly, trying to make it fit. Now, unfortunately, these do not just spin out. So you have to take it apart and do each one separately. But make sure that you do it evenly so you have the same amount sticking out on both sides. Once you have them set and ready to go, a perfect fit, they will sit in here equal in level straight up and down. Then you can tighten your jam nut to a point where it won't move at this point. Or if you want a specific place for your turret to sit, you can now adjust this and it will flow evenly between. So if you want this Assault logo out, tighten them up. Middle radius rod is ready to go. Do that for the rest of them and we'll start reinstalling. Once all the radius rods are the proper length, you're simply going back and reinstalling everything the way it was. On ours, we put in the double shear bolts in the middle control arm, so that's just a simple bracket that slides into place, and they provide you with a new bolt, washer, and nut to go in there. Once you just slide this stuff back in, it's pretty simple. Put it all back in the same manner that it was. The only hard part that I see once you start to mess with the different configurations is getting that center plate or the tow hook area from the S3 tow hook back into place. Everything has kind of been moved around too much to simply just relieve tension, pull something off, and put it back on. So I found it best just to start at the bottom, work my way up, get all the bolts in, and just get everything snug, and then pull things together really lightly on level 1 with our impact wrench, just to get it into position before we really torque that down to about 90 foot-pounds. Installation is simple. This is a lot more beefy than what we had before. We're going to be able to bounce it off some rocks. But there are a few things that you need to know as you're going through this. The instructions from Assault Industries tell you that you only need a 5/16 inch wrench, some thread locker, and miscellaneous things like a tape measure. In our case, we needed an 18 millimeter, a 16 millimeter, and a 19 millimeter wrench. We also needed an 18 millimeter, 16 millimeter, and 19 millimeter socket. So when you're going through that, pretty simple. The other thing that we used was a screwdriver, because when we put the double shear bracket into place, we wanted to make sure that it was running parallel with the brake line so that nothing would, or the brake disc, excuse me, so that nothing would get up in there and bind. So we just use a screwdriver to keep it in the right place while we tighten that bolt up. Other than that, very, very simple install. This is something that I think long-term is well worth the money. If you go back, you bend a stock rod, you replace it with another stock rod, you're just gonna bend it again. And that's not worth it. Do some upgrading. Go over to Summit Racing, check out the different types of radius rods that they have and the other options that you can add onto this machine. One thing that you'll note on this machine, it is nice, black, and shiny. That is because after we washed it, we coated it immensely with SC1. That helps us wash the mud off the next time. Unfortunately, this time we sprayed a ton on it, so it's a little bit more shiny than normal, but that's easy to get, and I'll put a link in the description for that one too. Something that's out there that just makes cleaning up a lot more easy. From here, we're ready to go test and do some riding. So guys, make sure you subscribe to our channel and make sure you turn on those notifications so you can see when we go. We're gonna put up the videos from the Hatfield-McCoy trip sometime in the next 2 weeks. It's gonna be an awesome trip. We're gonna have a lot of fun, and we hope to bring you some great entertainment. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.